Hey y'all. Are you asking God for a new or change, but you're still holding on to the old? So it's like a 1 foot in, 1 foot out the door. It's like you got 1 foot into the change, the new, but you got 1 foot out where you still walking or trying to linger in the old. So this message might not be for everybody, but it is somebody that is listening to me. And I've been talking about how it's time to move forward. And I keep hearing a shift. I just keep hearing a shift. And when God is saying that it's time to move forward, that is Him shifting you from the old to the new. And I've been talking about how it's time to walk away from some places, walk away from some people, and how God is saying and asking, why are you still there? And saying that when I'm telling you to move, why do you need to know the why? If you hadn't saw those videos, go back and watch them, because God is really trying to get somebody's attention. And really, what I see is that He's really wants somebody to move. And some people is procrastinating because you got to go, you got the green light, and all you got to do is just take that move, take that step, and move forward. And some people is just staggering, like you taking little bitty steps, or you just on a standstill. But I want to share with you all what God told me last week. And it is some people that, like I said, you got 1 foot in and 1 foot out. And you're asking God for a change. You've been praying for a change. You've been praying for something new because you're saying that you're tired of your situation. You're tired where you're at. But this is the thing. When we're asking for these things, we expect God to do it the way we think it should be done. And that's not how it's going to happen. Because when God say it's time to move, then you got to move. Even when you moving into unfamiliar territories. Even when you don't even know where He's moving you to, taking you to, leading you to, guiding you to. You just got to do it. And I talked about that on another video. When you don't know where you're going, when you don't know what's next, but you know that God is telling you it's time to move. We cannot ask God for a change and for a new when we want to do it. We want Him to do it the way we think it should be done. And that's why some people is staggering. That's why some people is stuck. That's why some people is taking small steps, because you expecting for God to do it the way you wants to do it. That's not the case, because when you have asked God for the change, for new, that means that you got to remove yourself out the way. Your ways, your plans. And that's what caused some people to procrastinate, because you want for God to do it the way you want to do it, and for God to do it how you wants to do it. And God was telling me last week that it is some people that you're still holding on to the old. And I heard people. You're still holding on to people that see that you're trying to move forward. That see that you're trying to live a righteous life and you're moving towards God. Because where you was at, you shouldn't be there. But you want to do what God is telling you to do. And guess what? Don't you know the enemy knows that you trying to move away from that darkness? Move away from the things that no longer serve you? Don't you know the enemy knows that? And don't you know the enemy will use people to persuade you it's time to stay? And don't you know it's somebody right now, the reason why you still where you is at, even though you're asking God for a change, God said you're still there because you allowing the voices in your ear, the same people that he keeps telling you that it's time to move away from. You is allowing them voices to hold you back. That's what I heard. He said the reason why they can't move, the reason why they're staggering, the reason why they got 1 foot in and 1 foot out is because the very thing that he's telling you to move away from is the very thing that's in your ear and trying to keep you stuck where you is at. Who is this word for? Because you know that you got that 1 foot in and 1 foot out. Like, you know this. But you can't let go of the very thing God is telling you to let go of. Because you keep allowing the very people that he's telling you to walk away from to get in your ear, to hold you back. We constantly ask God for things. Change, anew. We don't want to surrender to God. We don't want to do what he tells us to do. We don't want to walk in obedience. We don't want him to guide us. But we want him to give us anew. We want something different. But we don't want to let God guide us. We want to do it our way. We want to stay in places, in situations that God is telling us to move. It's not for us to understand the way God works. So your way is not going to work. Your direction, it's not going to work. You're asking for a new. You're asking for a change. And God said that you got 1 foot in and 1 foot out. Because you're still holding tight to the old. To the very thing that he keeps telling you that it's time for you to take your hands off of and move forward. We can't expect God to give us things and we don't want to surrender to him. We always want and want and want, but we don't want to give God us. But we expect God to give us everything. But we don't want to give him us. But we asking and we praying and we pleading. But you don't want to follow the direction that God is telling you to go in. It's not meant for you to understand. You saying you seeking God for things, that means you got to let God do it his way, not your way. You can't ask God for things and think you gonna go ahead of him and do it yourself. Then if that's the case, you might as well just do it on your own and not even seek God. God said, you are asking for new and change, but you still holding on to the old. It's time to let go.